Yeah. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome all of you in this tutorial video in which I will be showing you practical use cases for music theory. I will break it down in increasing levels of complexity, starting from the very beginner level down to some more interesting concepts. You don't have to have prior musical education. This video is aimed for people who are just starting out or have been producers who want to learn a bit about all that jazz and stuff. I will cover basic concepts like musical notation, intervals, chords, clefs, reading sheet music, and some more advanced scales, suspended chords, sus chords, advanced chords, seventh chords, ninth chords, and some chord progressions. First of all, to build a base upon which we will be discussing more complicated concepts of music theory, I want to talk about note naming convention. So look at this keyboard layout. I want you to learn these letters. It will be important for later parts like chords and stuff. So starting from the white keys, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. Alternatively, a way to memorize it is by starting from A note. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And B, C, D, E, F, and so on. Like in the alphabet. Probably the most important note to memorize is C, because it's in the middle of the keyboard and most layouts. Try to remember that this is C, okay? So I want a little pop quiz just so you guys will learn this is C, okay? What's this note? Remember, C, D. Okay. Remember to do the C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, or the alphabet method if you feel stuck. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Okay. Now, what's this note? C, D, E, F, G. Okay. What's this note? C, D, E. Okay. What's this note? C, D, E, F. Okay. What's this note? C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay. What's this note? C, D, E, F, G, A. Okay. What's this note? C, D. Okay. These were the white keys. Not now. What I wanna do is teach you guys the black ones. For that, I want you to learn about semitones. So, a semitone is the smallest difference between two notes on a keyboard. For example, this is a semitone, this is a semitone, and this is a semitone. A semitone can be built on every note, and you can build them both up and down. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that the difference between two notes remains just one semitone. If you got that, I want to go ahead and start explaining the sharps and the flat symbols. Sharp is like sharp spikes going up. They go up by one semitone. Let's say we have the note C. C sharp means that you will raise the pitch of a note by exactly one semitone or 100 cents. You will go from the note C to C sharp, like the programming language. The same goes for D. We go D sharp, and then we go F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. And you'll probably notice that there's no sharps for E and B because it's essentially just F and C. Okay, next are flats. Flat ground, flatten something, fall flat on your face. Flats are there to make something go down. They decrease the note height by exactly one semitone or 100 cents. For example, we have D flat, E flat, G flat, A flat, and B flat. Same story with sharps. If we apply the flat symbol for C, you just get B. It's kind of pointless. Similarly with F flat, you get E, which defeats the purpose. But just as an extra thought, there are musical scales that use more than 5 sharps or flats, and they use F flats and stuff, but you don't need to know that. I'm just saying that so you know, okay? It's pretty rare to have scales that have more than 5 sharps or flats. You don't need to know them, so don't bother, okay? Okay, lesson 2, guys. Intervals. Interval is a difference, the distance between two notes. Any given distance. So, for example, a semitone is the smallest difference between two notes. It's an example of an interval. We could have larger. I wanna go from smallest to largest. So, a semitone is the smallest difference between two notes. It can also be sometimes called minor second or a half step. But for now, I prefer if you just think that it's a semitone. Here's the sound. In isolation, it's a distinctly harsh sound. Then we have a major second. It's two semitones apart. It can also be called a whole step because it consists of two half steps. It sounds like this. It's neutral, usually. Two semitones apart. Then we have minor third, used for building minor chords, which we will discuss later, and for doubling the main melodies sometimes. You could have a melody and a melody that's minor third down. So keep that in mind. It sounds like this. It sounds sad, simply. Three semitones apart. Then major third is a happy interval for building major chords and melody doubles. Along with minor thirds, you can alternate. I don't want to make this too complicated. I just want to say that if you have a melody, you could try thirds, whether minor thirds or major thirds, to add that under the melody. Yeah, let's continue. A major third is 4 semitones apart, and after it we have the perfect fourth. It's called perfect because it sounds perfect and triumphant, like if it was some national anthem, or as if you completed a level in Cut the Rope or Bad Piggies, and it's 5 semitones apart. After that, we have one of the harshest sounding intervals, the tritone, called by popular culture the devil interval. It can be called diminished fifth or a augmented fourth, even though it has nothing to do with the devil. They sound like this. Um, it's 6 semitones apart. Then we have perfect fifths. They sound perfect like fourths, but are bigger. They work for bass lines, can be paired with perfect fourths too. They sound like this. They are 7 semitones apart. And this is one of the most important intervals to learn. Because they work for chord progressions very well. Just place a chord and place another chord that's perfect fifth up or down. And it will most likely sound good. After that, we have minor sixths. Sixths in general sound melancholic and are both good for chords and melody tabus, just like with thirds. They sound like this. Minor sixth is a melancholic, tender, serene, nostalgic interval. It works well for cinematic backgrounds, appears more on the feely side, very Chopin-esque, takes romantic idealism. It's 8 semitones apart. After that, there is a major sixth, which is a happy melancholic type interval that can be used as an add-on for chords and for melody doubles. Sixths are good for both chords and for melodies. You can remember that. They are 9 semitones apart. After that, there is minor seventh. Overall, a happy interval, but it can be used in chords to create some tension, often used by jazz, blues, and even Chopin. 10 semitones apart. After that, a very Carahonk interval, incredibly dissonant. Major seventh on its own is full of tension, but if you add it to like a major chord, it's nice. We'll get on with that later in the video. Sounds like this. 11 semitones apart, just one below an octave, easier to remember. And finally, we've reached the end with the perfect octave. Sounds like this. And it's 12 semitones apart. Okay, let me go to lesson 3, which is chords. There are two major types of chords which I want you to get familiar with. These are minor chords based on minor thirds, sometimes called minor triads, and major chords based on major thirds, sometimes called major triads. And we will start off with minor chords. They begin with minor third and end with major third. You can alternatively say they start with 3 semitones, then 4 semitones. I think it will be easier like this for now. So build 3 semitones up from any given note, then 4 semitones up to create a minor chord. So build 3 semitones up from any given note, then 4 semitones up to create a minor chord. Major chords are the exact opposite. They have first a major third, then a minor third. 4 semitones up, then 3. Sometimes we use diminished chords. They have 2 minor thirds stacked, so you go up 3 semitones twice. For augmented chords, you go up by 4 semitones twice, or by 2 major thirds if you prefer. So these are some of the baseline chords that you can use a lot experimentally. You can try them out when producing. Hello, lesson for Clefs and sheet music. It's gonna be a short one. I want to get this out of the way because it's pretty important for understanding the basics of how to read sheet music. You don't need to know this as a producer, but I threw it in so that if you ever had to come across working with musicians, you'll at least have some resemblance of what they are actually talking about. So clefs are very important for reading sheet music. They tell you where the notes should be placed on the staff. The staff means 5 straight parallel lines used for musical notation. There are 2 clefs that I want to show. There are more, but these are the most important: the bass clef and the treble clef. Treble clef is mainly identified by being on the right hand for pianists or for violinists. It's important to know that the middle C is placed on the bottom added line of the clef. We can also observe the center of the clef pointing at the note G. This is the reason why this particular clef is called the G clef. For the bass clef, it's a bit different because it's F based. The line between two dots is pointing at the F note. Also, the added top line is for the middle C as presented earlier. The bass clef is primarily used for the pianist's left hand. Okay, lesson number 5. Scales. Similarly to chords, there are two major scales that you really need to think about. In my experience, though, using scales is not the most important thing in music production. You can often make very interesting melodies by pure experimentation. Sometimes going off scale can make really interesting melodies. First, major scale. Most important thing to remember is that it has a semitone between the third and fourth note, as well as between the seventh and the last eighth note. The rest of them are whole tones. You can see that if you take the first, the third, and the fifth note of the scale, you will get a major chord. So let's try to build a major scale from the ground up. Let's try A major. We start from A. First to second note in A major is a whole tone from A to B. Remember the 3, 4, 7, 8. From a second to third, we go a whole tone from B to C sharp. From third to the fourth note, we have a semitone, which means we go from C sharp to D. From fourth to the fifth note, we go a whole tone up from D to E. From fifth to the sixth note, we go a whole tone up from E to F sharp. From sixth to the seventh note, we go a whole tone up from F sharp to G sharp. From seventh to the eighth note, we have a semitone from G sharp to A. If you're struggling with this, one way to remember how to build major scales is by sketching C major and shifting it up or down. C major is all white notes, so this is easy. You could also use the scale highlighter option in FL Studio. Personally, I opt for using the more traditional method by just sketching out the notes in the C major scale, because I'm a pianist, and having different highlighting just messes me up a bit. If you want to, you can use it. It's not unnecessary though. Minor scale. There are multiple minor scales, but I want you to remember there are 3 variations of minor scales, but I want you to learn about the most basic one, the natural minor, which which has a semitone between the second and third, and also the fifth and the sixth. An easy way to remember this is to sketch out the notes of A minor scale, which are the same as for C major. They just start at a different point from A in this case. So, for example, let's build a G minor scale. Remember 2, 3, and 5, 6 are the semitones, the rest being whole tones. The distance from the first to the second note is a whole tone from G to A. From second to the third note, we go a semitone up from A to B flat, a semitone. And from third to the fourth note, we go a whole tone up from B flat to C. From fourth to the fifth note, we go a whole tone up from C to D. From 5th to the 6th note, we go a semitone up from D to E flat. From 6th to the 7th note, we go a whole tone up from E flat to F. And from the 7th to the 8th note, we go a whole tone up from F to G. Okay, I think that will be it for now, but there is an interesting scale that I want to mention. If you just use the black keys, it will create a nice sounding scale called the pentatonic. You can use it for both the melodies and arpeggios pretty safely, since it blends really well in almost any given situation. There are two pentatonic scales. For major scales, you just take the first, second, third, fifth, and sixth note of the major scale. Or you can just draw down black keys from F sharp up and match it with your scale. For minor scales, you can use the first, third, fourth, fifth, and seventh note from a minor scale. Or you can just use the black keys again from D sharp up and then match your scale. It will work with arpeggios and ear candy stuff. Okay, lesson 6, suspended chords. We are getting to some good stuff now. Suspended chords, sus chords, imposter chords. They are in essence alternate versions of major and minor chords. The third is being replaced by either the fourth or the second. So, for example, a sus2 chord of C major, we take C, E, and G, and we lower the E note to D, which becomes C, D, G. That's suspended 2 chord of C major. See how E moved to D. That's the most important part. Okay, so you wanna build major scale. So let's sketch a major scale by doing C major. And then you wanna remove all the notes except for the fifth, second, and first. You can transpose that into another scale by just shifting down. This is B major, sus2 chord. And this is B flat major, sus2. A flat major. You get what I mean. build any major scale. Advanced doing C major. Just take the fifth, second, and first in the scale. And similarly, a sus4 chord is the same, but in the opposite direction. So from C, E, G to C, F, G. It's a nice way to make the chords sound less basic. Build C major. Take the fifth, fourth, and first note. That's gonna be C major sus4 chord. You can move it up to do D major sus4 chord, or E flat major sus4 chord, F major sus4 chord. You get the idea. You can also think about it in terms of semitones. So for suspended second chord, you can go first 2 semitones up from any given note, then 5 semitones. 2, then 5. Or with suspended fourth chords, you can go 5 semitones up first. Or if you're just using a DAW like FL Studio, just leave the 1 and 4 note gaps between notes. Okay. Should have said it already. This is for chorus. Major chords leave 3 and 2 note gaps. For minor chords, leave 2 and 3. It's one of the ways to make it easier to remember. Well, now it's gonna be hard lesson. Lesson number 7, advanced chords. For major chords, it's useful to top the chords with a major or minor seventh. In music theory, a major chord with a minor seventh is called a dominant seventh chord. It can sound cool, create some tension, and it's often used by jazz musicians and Chopin. But I don't think it's my favorite chord when it comes to music. I think I prefer the major chord with the major 7. It can create a sense of nostalgia. You can leave it on its own and it will carry an entire song without the need for complications. Major chord with a major 7th is called a major 7th chord. The dominant seventh chord looks like this. You take a major chord like C, E, G, and you go up from the fifth, which is G, go up by three semitones, creating C, E, G, B flat. If you want to go for a major seventh chord, you go one semitone more, C, E, G, B. Remember that for these chords, inversions can be especially powerful and cool, so you can freely experiment with that. If you want to go the minor route, there's a really cool chord called the minor seventh. It's just a minor chord stacked with a minor seventh on top. Similarly, with the dominant seventh chord, you will go three semitones up from the fifth note of the minor chord. So you build a minor chord like A, C, E, and then go up from the fifth by three semitones, creating A, C, E, G. It has a very calming presence, good for sad tracks and a bit of nostalgia. If we want to start with C to create a minor seventh chord, we go 3 up, then 4 up for a minor chord, minor third and major third if you prefer. Then add a minor seventh on top, which is 3 semitones up from G. C, E flat, G, B flat, completing the bunch. So that's minor seventh chord. And then, if you want to be more fancy, you can even use a diminished seventh chord. You create a diminished chord, so minor third and a minor third, and then go up by four semitones for added minor seventh. For example, C, E flat, G flat, and B flat. It sounds like opening a treasure chest in Zelda game. There's a little major, minor rule. Minor chords go along with minor sevenths, major chords with major sevenths. I just noticed that it's the case. To recap, for major chords with major seventh, you go major chords, and for semitones up for major seventh, C, E, G, B. For dominant seventh chord, you go major chords and then minor seventh, C, E, G, B flat. If you want minor chords with minor seventh, add the minor chords and plus 3 semitones for minor seventh. ACE, minor chords, plus 3 semitones. ACEG, that's the minor seventh. Lesson 8, ninth chords. There are also chords that work with 5 notes. There's 2 of them that I want you to focus on. First one being the minor ninth chord. You take a minor seventh chord, so take a minor triad from C, C, E flat, G. Go 3 semitones up to add minor seventh. C, E flat, G, B flat. And then to create a minor ninth chord, you go 4 semitones up to add a major ninth. C, E flat, G, B flat, and D. Take a minor triad from C, C, E flat, G. Go 3 semitones up to add minor seventh. C, E flat, G, B flat. And then to create a minor ninth chord, you go 4 semitones up to add a major ninth. C, E flat, G, B flat, and D. From D, create minor ninth chord, a minor triad, D, F, A. Add a minor seventh by going 3 semitones up, D, F, A, C. And add a major ninth by going 4 semitones up, D, F, A, C, 4 semitones, E, D face. A different way of building these chords is by following a semitone pattern. 3, 4, 3, 4. If you don't understand anything I'm saying, just place a note, leave 2 spaces empty. Place a note, leave 3 spaces empty. Place a note, leave 2 spaces empty. Place a note, leave 3 spaces empty. That's always gonna make a minor ninth chord. Second chord is a major ninth chord. You take a major seventh chord and add a major ninth. So we build a major triad. Let's take A major, for example. A, C sharp, E. And we add a major seventh by going up 4 semitones. So from E, we go up by 4 semitones, creating G sharp note, and then a major ninth at the end by going up by 3 semitones from G sharp to B. A, C sharp, E, G sharp, B. Another example. Let's take E major ninth. We start with E major chords, which is E, G sharp, and B. Then we add a major seventh. So from B we go 4 semitones up to D sharp, which is 1 below the octave E. So D sharp. Then we go 3 semitones up from D sharp, which is F sharp. So E, G sharp, B, E major, then a major seventh, 1 below octave, D sharp, and 3 semitones, F sharp. Major ninth chords follow a 4-3, 4-3 semitone pattern. Remember the whole 2 empty, 3 empty space thing? Well, for major chords, it's reversed. You do instead of 3, 4, 3, 4, you go 4, 3, 4, 3. So place a note, leave 3 spaces empty. Then place a note, leave 2 spaces empty. Place a note, leave 3 spaces empty. Place a note, leave 2 spaces empty. That should make a major ninth. So if you don't understand what I'm blabbing about, just do this. You leave 3 long gap, then 2, then 3, then 2. For major chords, you can often flip the top note by an octave down, or even remove some notes, because it's very dense with 5 already. There's a lot of room for experimentation when it comes to inversions, so you can try that too if you want to. Lesson 9, chord progressions. I saved the most important for last, probably. Chord progressions is just a way of combining chords together in a song. They work in both major and minor scales. Let's start with simple one for progression. You take the first note of the scale and just build a chord on that scale. So in C major, for example, it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You take the first note, which is C, and the third and the fifth note of the scale. So C, E, G. Then chord on the fourth would be from the fourth note of the scale. So F, A, and C, fourth, sixth, and eighth in this case. So first one chord would be C, G, fourth chord would be F, A, C. You can flip it to a minor scale too. And just to recall, let's take A minor. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. One chord is A, C, E. Fourth chord is D, F, A. You could invert the chords by dropping A down an octave. Next progression, 1-5. Let's take C major scale again. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on and so on. 1 would be C, E, G. 5 would be from the fifth note, which is G. G, B, D. 4 minor chords, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. 1 would be A, C, E. 5 would be E, G, B. One important thing I gotta mention. For minor scales, 5 could be also major. So in this example, E, G sharp, B works too. It's the only exception you need to know. You could invert the fifth chord and go G sharp, B, E, or G, B, E. So starting from the third instead of the first, and go G sharp, B, E, which would be the first inversion. You invert E an octave up. One, 4, 5, 4 progression. You take notes from C major or any other major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. 1 is C, G, 4 is F, A, C, 5 is G, B, D, and 4 again, F, A, C. You could invert some chords like this. Minor scale A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. 1 is A, C, E, 4 is D, F, A, 5 is E, G, B, or with G sharp, E, G sharp, B, and back to D, F, A. Remember that you can do it in any scale. I'm just showing you the easiest ones. Next, 1, 2, 4, 5. Let's take C major scale again. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. 1 is C, E, G. 2 is minor D, F, A. 4 is F, A, C. 5 is G, B, D. For minor, it's weird. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. One is A, C, E. Two would be B, D, F, but that's diminished, so go F sharp, I guess. 4, D, F sharp, A, or D, F, A. 5, E, G, B. Scrap that. But you know, it's interesting, so you can use it, I guess. Next is 1, 2, 4. Let's take C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. 1 is C, E, G, 2 is D, F, A, 4 is F, A, C. You could add 5 at the end with G, B, D. For A minor, A, B, C, D, F, G, A, B, C. 1 would be A, C, E. 2 would be B, D, F. Is diminished. I recommend F sharp, and 4 being D, F, A. You could add 5 at the end with E, G, B or E, G sharp, B. I think that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you find the tips useful. If you have any suggestions, leave in the comments. Make music. It's God's wonderful gift, and see you next time. Peace.